So, guys, all right, welcome back again. So let's. I would like to move directly to our the core hands-on part, and we are into the training of Red Hat RHCSA version 8 with the Python integration. And last 2 week we are focusing more in the Red Hat based core concepts of Linux, some networking, and mainly about the server part, right? Then slowly we'll start again move to the Python, but there's a reason why I'm doing this because in the IIEC rise in our particular campaign, we already has started one more most demanded technology in the market. This called Docker, right? But in the Docker we have some prerequisite, right? You should have some knowledge of networking. You should have some knowledge of some servers, especially the web server, right? So that is a reason I would like to first complete those topic. So in the parallel we are doing two things. We are completing the the topics that we have into a program of RSCSA, a level of training, okay, of Red Hat. And second, we also completing some prerequisite for our Docker training. So technically from this particular week, from the 7th, or from this weekend Saturday, when you come to the Docker class, you will, because you have the idea of those basic concepts and basic Linux, so you will get more conceptual understanding of your Docker respective feature, rather than just stretching more on more on the Linux stuffs, right? So this is my main agenda and my main plan, right? So we have one more, guys, please hold for a second. So now I have some more basics topic to be covered in web server. So if you have guys gone through some of the last two lecture of mine, we have covered about Apache web server. Even though we have just started from very basics on the Apache web server, there's tons of thing we can do just in the web server. But technically we are into a core training of RSCSA. There we have lots of topic from server, networking, system, kernel, basic commands. So whatever topic we are discussing, we'll touching everything whatever we have in the agenda of RSCSA, but some extra things also, that even though that are not a part of agenda, but we are trying to touch the stuffs, right? Because my idea plan is, whatever the content we have, I would like to get you ready what industry need, okay? Plus what kind of use cases we the industry need in this kind of technology. Plus some new aspect, the new way of thinking about research and the innovation also. So almost lots of questions we have discussed, lot of things we have discussed. I always try to emphasize on those things, right? So I have some more thing to be discussed in Apache web server. Let me discuss those things. So first, let me reboot my system. And today, guys, what you will see, when I start my OS, automatic my firewall will stop, because in the last session we have disabled our firewall permanently. That is not good practice. We again enable it by after we start learning the firewall. Second, as soon as my system boot, you will see my web server automatic starts. So those things I would like to show you after my system boot. And one more thing, guys, I would like to show you here today. Without logging to my operating system, if you know the IP address, okay, if you know the IP address of your operating system, right? So for example, this is my Red Hat. Oh, guys, hold for a second, please, again. Yep. So what I like to show you today, without logging to your operating system, if you know the IP of your system, what can you do? You can go to your client system, open your browser like Firefox or Chrome, type the IP if you know, okay, you can exit the site. So it means my system boots up. Okay, I think my IP might be 162, it might don't change maybe. So if you go to my browser and if you type the same IP 162, and you can see, you can your site is not reachable, because in the last class we have changed the port number of my IP of my web server, right? So what I'm doing right now, I'll just type my port number and it's accessible. So what I'm trying to tell you guys here is, okay, I'm trying to tell you here is, if you configure your system, sorry, if you configure your system as a server, it would be web server, mail server, whatever server you have. If it is be configured and services running behind the scene, okay, then in this case you don't have to log in. And that is the biggest difference in a program like, for example, Firefox, like Date. So if you want to run a program called Firefox in this operating system, if you want to run the Date, then you have to log in. Without login, you can't run the program. Without login, you can't access the output of that program. Okay, so those command or the program for which we have to log in our operating system are typically normally known as program only. But those program, right, that you can use without login, those program that you can use without login, for example, in our case we are using the web server. So web server or servers are those kind of program, right, that you can access without logging to your operating system, without log in inside your operating system. And those kind of program that you can use without logging inside the operating system are typically known as services. And because they are running behind the scene, you don't have to log in. Without login, you can see, guys, I can access the site, I can access my web server, right? So it means those programs that are running behind the scene, either you can use the term service, but technically in the industry we have one term for this. These guys are known as a daemon, right? So daemon, daemon are those kind of program, right, that are running in your system, that are running internally in your system. For if you want to access this, you don't have to log in your system. Without login also, you can access from anywhere. Or even though if you log in, you won't able to see they are running, because they are running internally for you, right? uh, so that is the reason they are known as daemon, and that is the reason the software that we used, or the command that we use, or the command we used is systemctl restart httpd. So my service name was httpd, and what is the D stand for? D stand for daemon. So almost all the services that we have in the market, or or almost all the servers that we have in the market, are actually daemon. So typically either you say the service or daemon is one of the same thing, but but daemon is the most correct word for our services. So you can see here, guys, there is no service visible here. Why? Because they are running behind the scene, or because they are running behind the scene. Okay, so that is a reason they are known as daemon. And if you want to see are they running or not, you know the command, you can use the status command to see and to visualize those guys. So in the future, if I say please start your daemon or check your daemon, you can use this command to start or stop. For example, httpd daemon is running, so it is running right now, or because they are running internally, so that is the reason they are known as daemon. Okay, this is the one small term I would like to tell you. Or because it is enabled, it means after every reboot they always run. Okay, so this is one thing. One more thing, guys, that I would like to explain you about especially for the Apache web server is for right now why we use Apache web server. Every server has the use cases. Okay, so for every need or for every use or for every use cases, we have the server available. But you should know what is your need, what is your requirement in the use case. If your need is to give your web pages or website to the client, if this is your need and this is the only need you have, then you can use a server called web server. This is one thing. Okay. Second thing, I explained you in the last class. Web server is a program, and any program that you want that anybody can access from the outside world, from anywhere. Okay, obviously you require the network connectivity. That's the but for sure thing that you need, but obvious thing actually. Okay, but if anybody want to connect your program, and because this program is running behind the scene, so you can use the term daemon. So anybody who want to access your daemon, right, using the networking, then your program or daemon require one unique number, and that number is called port number. And what is port number? In the last class I explained you from very basics, from very zero, what is the right meaning of the port number. Okay, and second thing guys, I explained you in the last class that port number is just a range. That's just the ID. You can give any number between 2 to power 16. And guys, in the last class, by chance on the flow, I was just giving you the wrong number of the range, but you can use your calculator to find the range of this number. So 1216 is 65,536. So these much port we can assign in one operating system. So in one operating system, you can write hundreds of thousands of program, and every program we can give some number in this particular range. Range means from 0 to 65,535. So any number that you give within this range would be your valid port number. This is one thing, right? Now one more thing guys here, because mainly client should know your port number. So that is a reason what we have done in the real world. We have make our some of the main core server their port number standard. For example, web server, mail server, DNS server is very common server everybody use, right? Or because everybody use, who use? Client use. So rather than each time keep on telling your client your port number, your program number, your port number, what we have done, we have created our some communities has created some standard. Okay, so they can standard and say if you are using web server, always use your port number 80. If you are mail server, always use a port number 25. But these are the standard, but these are the just number, and this number is given by your program, so you can ask your program to change the number. So just in the last class I also show you how to change the number. For 80 to 81 I show you. Let me show you one more thing, one more time, again this practical, because today, you know what, when I do today it will fail. Okay, so this is summary guys what we did here in the last class. Why I'm explaining it to you again, because according to the standard, right, normally the some standard body, maybe IATF or IEEE, lots of standard body in the market, they are the one who decide, hey, are you the DNS server, then always give your DNS port 23. So all the client program you have, we ask those developer, for example, Chrome is the one client program, means your web server or web browser. So we'll ask Chrome guys that every time the web server port is 80, so rather than we keep on telling our client to write in a URL over here that your port number is 80, so just make them internally set. So client don't have to write the port number, client don't have to remember those number, client just type the IP and they will get the access. It's something like this, right? So that is the reason we always want our some main core uses useful servers the port number to be standard, but you can change. So how to change we already discussed in the last class, but I would like to show you one more time. If you want to change the port number, you just go to your internal configuration file of the server. This is the config file, and this is the file you can use to change the port number. And the last class guys we changed the port number, it is working fine, but today I would like to change again one more time. And what I would like to show you today, right after I change this port number today, it failed. Okay, so let me open the file, or in almost in the first page or second page, third somewhere. They ask you, give the options to change the port number, and that is called listen. So last class I will change, it is working fine, but let me change today to make it, for example, 1234. So I'm changing the port number to 1234. Let's see it is working or not. Okay, so I'll save the file. I save the file, and because you guys know this file is there in the hard disk, If you change, it won't update your RAM, your program, so it's still using the same one. But if you want your RAM program or your daemon update, you have to restart your services. So whenever you change something in the conf file, always restart services. And what I would like to tell you here, let's see restart. But guys, you know what happened? Today this program failed. This program failed. Okay, why they fail? Right now I know the answer, but this command also say I am failed. And if you want to see the reason, run this command. This command will tell you why this service failed to start. Okay, and one more thing I would like to tell you here. Okay, so what a program we have running on port number 81 also, they also stops. It means your server stops, your server fail. So if you want to see, you can use the status of stdpd. You can see it's failed. Okay, why it's failed we'll discuss in a minute. But because it fails, server fails, so from the client side, if you want to access your site again in any of the port number, you won't be able to access. Right, again one thing, my server fail even though from the client side I can see the site, but technically it is not possible. But why you're able to see the site? Because your browser normally create a caches of the pages. So this page is actually coming from caches, or your cache memory of your browser. If you hit multiple times, then you can see your cache clean and you can see it is refused. Okay, so technically what I'm trying to tell you guys here is right now in my server, okay, in the first day we use the main port of the server 80, this is called standard port, but we changed to 81. Again it was working fine, but I changed today to 1234, and because of this change they failed. Now why they failed, we don't know. Okay, so because they're not allowing you, that's the reason this they fail the service, and they say why they fail. Just try to run this command. This command will help you to know the reason. Little bit about, depends how what the reason would be, right? So if some service fail, there's one command that you can use to go little bit in deep dive to understand why it failed, why my service is not started, why my daemon is failed, right? So if you run this command, let's see what this command say. But I'm not saying this command will always tell you the actual answer, but you'll get the high level idea why your program or the daemon or service failed. When you run this, okay, they give you lots of output. You can use back arrow, forward arrow to see the output, and this command give you lots of information, and they say you are trying to use this port, okay, and due to some kind of security we won't allow you. Maybe this word is not visible here what I'm talking about, but because I know something about a security called SE Linux. Okay, that's the reason I can say this. So technically, you know what I'm saying, there is a one great security exists in the world, especially in the Linux world actually. Okay, and that is one of the biggest security in the world, inside your operating system. Okay, and the security name is called SE Linux. Okay, SE is security enhanced Linux. Okay, and this is the security that actually has been developed, I believe, by an NSA of US, National Security Agency of the US, right? And lots of great organizations are using this security. So this is one of the biggest security exists in the world in the terms of service security, file system security. So we might discuss in the future about SE Linux. Okay, but this is the one of the great and biggest security exist in the globe, in for your operating system access, right? So what I'm saying guys here is SCLS is one security. And according to SCLS, right, I can say if you are running your web server, I am allowing you to give the port number 80. I am the one I am allowing you to give the port number 81. But if you try to give any other port to the web server, I won't allow. So SC Linux has their own internal database where it mentioned that if any server are running, okay, so I am the one who decide due to some security reason. There's a lot of security reasons. I'm not going for that part right now. It's not the right time to go in that direction, right? So due to some lot of security hacks or security reasons, I am allowing you the web server to access only port 80 or 81. If web server are using any other port, I won't allow. And who decide this? SLN, and that is a reason this command shows that SC Linux is preventing your HTTPD service of the daemon to have the access on this particular port. Okay, so this is one high level idea I got from this command. Okay, it means I can't enable or use any other port. But if you want to use any other port due to any reason, then we have a two-way. Either we can take the help from SLNS and say, SLNS, can you please update your database and allow me to access 1, 2, 3, 4 port also for my HTTPD program. This is the worst way we can do. Or other way would be very simple. We can disable the security. Obviously, guys, if security is not there, nobody stops you. So I'm going to show you both the way. Okay, right now what I'm doing, I'm disabling one of the great security called SE Linux. So for this, even though if you try to run the command again, you can also see in the graphical they pop up in the top. Here, see new SE Linux alert. In the top you can see it's pop up. It means when SLNS is doing something, when SLNS security is stopping something, they always show you pop up in your GUI also. It means something they stopped. Okay, so right now what I'm doing, I'm just first showing you command through which you can check the current status of SE Linux. So there is a command called get enforce. This is a command through which you can check the current status of SE Linux, and if it shows enforcing, it means SE Linux is enabled in your system. But if you want to disable the SE Linux, the command called set enforce 0. It means if you put 0, it disable the SE Linux. And instead of disable, they show the permissive. Permissive, you can think like right now it is something like disable. Now SE Linux is disabled. But if you want to again enable SE Linux, again put 1. It is again enabled. So this is the command you can use to enable or disable the SE Linux. Right now, what I'm doing, I'm disabling the SE Linux. So what is SE Linux, guys? I haven't explained you right now, till now. But till now, you just understand that SE Linux is one of the biggest security exist in the Linux operating system world. That's all. And what I did, that's wrong actually. What I did, I just disable it because I would like to show you that SE Linux is the one who is stopping to give any other port to HTTPD. Now, if I start the service, last time it failed, but right now it won't stop. Even though it shows you warning that I don't want to change the port, but because SLN is not working, so they won't stop me. And if you want to see your current port, you can use this command. So what can you see? Okay, now your HTTPD process or a service, typically known as daemon is the right word actually, are running on port number 1234. Now it is working fine. Now from the client side also, if I go and try to access, if I hit this, it won't work because in the client I said just go to this IP and this port, but today my port is 1234, so I just write 1234. Now it is working fine. Okay, so this is the one thing. So inside you can change any port, okay, whatever you feel like. Okay, but if SLNS is there, so you can't change any port. SLNS has their own restriction. You can only give the port of that particular server on those restriction only. This is one thing. And second thing, guys, you can only give those port that are on the range of these numbers. Okay, this is second rule. And third, you can only give those port that is free in your operating system. It means if you see 22 port is already allocated. So if any program already using this port, you can't give same port again to any other program, right? So it means if I try to change the port of my web server, instead of 1234 22, if I change it, so what happened is because this particular port is already given to some other program, it is already running in my system, right? In this case, if you start running services, it failed. It failed. And again, why is failed? You can use this command. Use this command to see how why is failed. Uh, this command is not always show you the truth, but they say as this port is already used by some other program, right? That is the reason we are not allowing to give this port. It's something like this. They just give high level idea why this failed, and right now your service doesn't start. Okay, so technically the port number that you can give to any of the server are only those that is free right now, nobody is using. Second, okay, only those port that is within the range. And third, if SE Linux is enabled, okay, then you can give only those port that is allowed in SE Linux database. Otherwise you can disable the SE Linux. This is the different point. Okay, now one more thing I would like to tell you guys here is a lot of guys has some confusion is if you have a one port called example 1234, one port we can assign to only one program. When I say program, I mean to say service. For example, service one. Same port if you are want to assign to other program, you can't do this. This is one thing. One port we can assign to only one program, but in one program we can assign multiple ports. So one program also have port number 1, 2, 80, 81, 222. So one program or one service or one daemon can have multiple ports. Okay, so it means if I go to this file, I can give this program port number 80. I can write listen word one more time 81. I can write listen word one more time 1111. It means now from onwards my Apache web server has 3 port. Now there the client choice through which port they want to connect. So in one server one program we can give multiple ports. Okay, now the service not failed, and if you run the netstred command, what you will see now you have port number 80 also running, 81 also running in the service httpd, and port number 11 also running for this service. And now this is the client choice. If you want to access the page, they want to use port number 11111, right? Same page come up want to use port number 81, 80, whatever they feel like. Okay, so this so is one program we can give multiple ports. Okay, so this is one thing. Now guys, one question that I asked you, what is the right use case why we want to change the port number? What is the right use case why you guys want to change the port number? Okay, and you know what guys, mostly the answer that I got from multiple folks, multiple technical guys, they say we want to change the port number to give a security to our web servers or to our servers. Okay, what the mean by this, right? So let me show you this meaning by one interesting hack demo. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just launching one more operating system to show you one interesting demo. Okay, lots of guys say that right now this is my web server, okay, running on IP 162, and the port number of this web server is 80. And due to some security reason, we change this port number, for example 1234. And if I ask what is that security, why you change those port number, they say because this system is connected to internet, right? And there's lots of cracking guys, or a lot of hackers, or crackers is there in the internet. What they're doing, they keep on scanning the internet, and whenever they find some IP is running, then they further scan for port number 80, and this thing port number 80 is enabled, and normally port number 80 is for the web server. And because the web server, right, what they do, they start doing some kind of DOS attack, or they start doing some kind of pen testing, or testing, right, on the web server to find the bug or try to hack our servers. Okay, now what they're saying, for this security we change the port. So what is their answer? The answer, if hacker come to us hacker come to us, right? If they see my IP is available, then try to look for port number 80, and because the port number 80 is not there, so what they feel, the hacker feel, there is no website running. If because there is no website running, so they will go away from my server. Say the possibility of hacking my site or doing some hacking attempt on my site would be less, or won't be possible. Okay, and because I change my port, okay, to 1234, so I'll just go to my client and I'll tell my client, now if you want to access my site, you can just go and use this port and you can access the site or something like this. So this is the explanation given by a lot of technical folks to me why they would like to change the port. But so you know what my answer is, right? This is the one of the worst explanation, one of the worst use if you're changing the port. Okay, because you should know hackers are the genius guy in the world, right? They know anybody can change the port, and they're very smart. In a click from the outside world also, they can find your port number has been changed. So let me show you how they can find. Okay, so right now guys, this is your system having the IP address 1234 162, and for example this is your different system, and this system is for the hacker. So hackers are sitting somewhere in the internet, and technically, obviously, connectivity required, because without the connectivity, nobody can do anything. So, for example, you can think this system is connected to your laptop using some networking or some internet, right? So, what I'm trying to tell you guys here is I'm trying to simulate the same environment, right? Right now, my web server port is 80. That we know, hacker doesn't know. And my system is running that we know, hacker doesn't know. But guys, hackers have lots of tool available, right, through which they can find your IP is available or not, your IP is there or not, okay, live or not. Okay, how? There's a lot of tool available in the market, but one of the great tool lots of guys are using for scanning the IP, for scanning the services, for scanning the port, those are called scanning tool. Okay, and one of the great name for the scanning tool is Nmap. So Nmap is a tool, Nmap is also a command, right? So lots of guys are using this kind of tool. Okay, so this is the system hacker. So what they do, they can use a program or command called Nmap. Right now Nmap command is not available in my system, and you guys know, if command is not available, all the commands come from software. So if you want to install the software, you can use dnf or yum command, and Nmap command is again come from Nmap software only. So you can install the Nmap software if it is available in my DVD. So 1 minute. So it's checking the software. Okay, so Nmap is a one tool that is used to scan things. So from here you can see all the IP that is available in the internet, which IP is on, which IP is down, in which IP, which service are running, web server running, mail server running, all those kind of things you can scan with Nmap. So I suggest guys, sometime using the Nmap on the internet on some website is not legal. So I highly encourage you, don't use Nmap without getting any permission from that particular site. Sometimes it's illegal. It is illegal actually. So don't do this. Right? If you want to try, you can just use your two laptops, two systems, and from one system you can use to hit on the other system with your Nmap. So right now, guys, I'm installing the Nmap software using the yum command, right? So 1 minute. Sorry, I actually, my throat is not proper. Okay, so Nmap is installing, and if you see Nmap software, it is part of your DVD. Okay, you don't have to get from Apple release or from the internet. So Nmap installed. Okay, now from the Nmap, right now I am sitting in my this system, right? This system doesn't know does IP 162 is live or not. So we can use Nmap command, and Nmap we have a lot of kind of scanning. We can do this scanning, and we can give the range here. So I can give the range. Just try to search all the IP from 1 to, like example, 250. Okay, so what they do, they search for IP 1, the 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and all the IPs that are live right now that is connected to me in this range, it takes some minute or seconds, actually it depends. Okay, they show you the list of all those IP that is live right now in this range. Okay, it takes some time, but it's keep on scanning. It's one of the simplest command. It keep on scanning, and what they show you in some time, these are the IP that is right now uh, up in my particular world, right? So in my area where I'm connected, IP 124 is live, 162 guys see here is live, right? 152 is live, and they also show me, okay, 152 would be of some electronics of Samsung, maybe they are scanning some Samsung mobile phones, maybe lots of IP. One is my router here, Tenda. One mobile would be Apple, maybe it might also scan my Apple mobile IP address also, right? And they search it for you. But from here, you know this is the IP 162 of other system, and this is the IP of my Oracle VirtualBox other VM. Okay, so technically by this command I can scan. You can give the longer range, all the range that is connected to you. This they tell you which IP is available or not. Now what I do, now I will do further scan. For example, I go to 162. Okay, so I go to 162. And what I do, if I ask does 162 is live or not, yes, it's live, is up, is up. Okay, so technically what I researched from this system, for example, this is A, this is B. What I researched from B, that A is live and this is IP 162. Okay, then I do further research. Okay, I research in this system. Just can you tell me all the services running in IP 162? Okay, and from here guys, one click, right, one click, all right, from this system, guys, understand one thing, I don't know the password of this guy, right? I don't have any SS access, I don't know the login and password, but from B, without going to the system, I from here I can scan and tell that IP 162 are running with the three services: SSH, HTTP, and RCPC. It means hacker come to know that their port number 80 is live. Because port number 80 is live, so they can do further hacking on 80 port and some pen testing or pen testing on those side, and and do the further things, right? So that is a reason lots of security guys who are not hacker, they think let's just go and change the port, because if you change the port, it's harder by the hackers to attack on the web server. So what the normal system guys, what they do, they just go to the conf file and change the port. For example, let me change to port number 11111. Save. And they start feeling this system guys, this guy who where this web server belongs to, they feel because my server port change, there's no port number 80 is running. Now in this case, if hacker try to scan again, okay, they see a very different port is running. Okay, because they know 80 is running, it is HTTP web server, they start hacking on the 80 if they want to do some hack on website. But they can see port number 11 is running, but what they're showing, they're showing some different name here. It's not, it's a different kind of services maybe, or maybe hacker are not interested in this kind of services, they are more interested on the web server. Okay, so a lot of guys think hacker no deal here, and and if the hacker see there is no HTTP services running, they good to go, they go away from your server and start scanning other server, so you are safe. But guys, it is not like this, right? Hacker are very smart, they are very smart, right? They know, you know, they know that you know how to change the port, and they also know that you think if you change the port, right, you feel safe because you think it is one of the security measure you can use. But what they do, they not only scan the port number, but they do something detailed scanning. Okay, for example, they check does this port number is live, this one, yes, is open live. Okay, is open live. But what they do, okay, instead we have to use p is the option here. Okay, P means port. Does this port is live? Yes, it is live. So what they do, every port they check live, yes, and they do detail scanning. There's an option called -sv. I think V is apps caps, or I think so, caps. So what the we doing, this command do detail scanning of this port. Okay, and they do go in deep dive, right, and try to find actual status of this port. And what they find, they say, hey, I know, now I find that this port is for HTTP. And even they find, even they only not only find the name of service, they also find which software you are using and which version you're using. And guys, it is very much sensitive information, right? If somebody know your software name and the version name, there are lots of database available, CVE concept is there in the market for security word available, through which hacker come to know in this particular version which kind of vulnerability is available. They will hack, but they will try to attempt those issue or vulnerabilities attacks on those particular version, right? So my point is, guys, hackers are very much intelligent, right? If they want to do something, they somehow they will do, right? So these are the kind of options you can use, right? So technically, if you guys are maybe working in some company or will work in some company, so if somebody give you this answer, hey, we have changed the port number because it give a secure feeling, it secure us from the attacks, it is the one of the biggest worst answer they are doing, they are giving, because they don't know about the reality. The reality is this one, they if even though you change the port, anybody can find who you are. Okay, so my answer, guys, is if you want to change the port number, and if you think changing the port number give you a security, is a wrong, is myth. Changing the port number, it give you some extra power or give less power to a web server or the client, is again wrong. Okay, changing the port number is the identity. In the last class, if you remember, guys, my name was Vimal, and I just given that example, and my company has given me one ID. Okay, now, guys, my ID is 1 or 20 or 30, it doesn't matter. My power, my knowledge would be same. So changing the port number is doesn't impact your performance, power, and anything. It's just identity. Okay, so why we have to change the port number? I feel only one single reason. Reason is, we have lots of server normally running on the same port. Okay, for example, we have one server you guys might have heard about, but maybe in the future you'll heard about. For example, called Tomcat. Normally they run on port number 88. So we have one more server in the market called JBoss. Again, this also running on the port number 88. Okay, like this we have other servers also. So again, I worked a lot in JBoss also. Tomcat is very small example. So guys, these are two example I am giving. So right now in one system, if Tomcat is already running in this port, and if you wanted to run JBoss server also, because I told you in the last class, you can run multiple server in one system or one IP. So because Tomcat is already running in this particular port, and if you want to run any other program who want the same port, in this case it will fail, because I already explained you, one port we can give only to one server or one program. So that is a scenario where you have to go to JBoss and change the port, or you have to just go to Tomcat and change the port. This is the only scenario I feel where you have to change your port number. Otherwise, there is no requirement. That is the one small thing you should know. Okay. So this is the one great explanation I have given you. According to me, there is no other reason or great reason why you have to change the port number. Okay. So this is one thing about, guys, about the server. Okay. One more thing, guys, that I recommend, actually, small thing. I recommend here, if you want to do some changes in the conf file, okay, change in the conf file, don't do directly in this file, because this is the main configuration file. If due to some any reason, if something not working, something spelling mistake happened, so sometimes harder to find what changes we have done. So we recommend don't change anything here. For example, if you have a requirement to change the document root, this is one task I have given to you. Okay, if you want to change the document root, for example this one, you can come to this file and change here. But instead you come and change here, what you do, right? Instead you go and change here, what can you do, right? There's some secondary configuration file of Apache server. Okay, so if you go to last page of this site of this conf file, what they write, whatever file you create inside this folder with the extension called .conf, we load this file as our own configuration file. What I mean by this, so in the last page of this config file, it is written that if you create any file inside this folder with any name, but the condition is the extension will be conf, then this file is also treated as your Apache web server configuration file. Okay, so technically if you want to do any changes, instead you go to a main file, just come to this folder. Inside this folder, create a file with any name with extension, and over here just change whatever child to change. For example, I would like to add one more port, for example 81, or maybe for example 2222. Save, that's all. Okay, now what happened? Now if you start your services, obviously this is the conf file. You have to always start the service whenever you change something. So what happened? This service first always go to this main file, and this main file include all the file inside this folder. So this file also run, and what you will see the port number has been changed to 2222. 80 is also there because in the main file we already written 80. Okay. Similarly, if somebody say you want to change the document root, so come to this file and write this keyword. For example, document root. And here the keywords, these are the keywords actually. They are case sensitive. You write small caps, it doesn't matter. For example, now my document is maybe where www.vimal. Okay, so it means now onwards, okay, if you want to keep your web pages, you have to keep in this folder only. And this folder is actually I have created and randomly. So if you have to create this folder here, so if you want to keep any web pages, you have to put inside this folder only. Okay, so let me create a page called, for example, harry.html. Harry, this is the content I have written. Okay, it means what happened now from onwards, all the pages that is reside in this folder only, my web server will read it. So if you want to change any configuration, your document root, you can do in this way. Now I'll show you. So if I go to my client and if I try to access again the same older page, it won't work, not found. Why? Because my web server right, read this configuration file, and according to this configuration file, according to this configuration file, it is HTTP conf.d, right? From onwards, my document root is this one. It means all the web pages that is there inside this folder won't be readable. But all the web pages that is we put inside this folder, my web server can read this. This means from now onwards, whatever you want to keep your website web page, you have to write here. So this is a way you can change your document root. And understand one thing, in one web server by default you can have only one document root. You can have multiple ports. Okay, so if you write this document root in one file, if you write this document other file, the priority is always given to your secondary configuration file. So what I mean by this, you have two configuration file. One is this one, where conf, the main one, and one file is this one that we have created inside this folder, vimal.conf. Okay, so if in this file or this file, if both the keyword match, okay, the priority always go to your secondary files. So here the document root is where.html, here the document is where.vimal, so they priority give to where.vimal. Okay, this part overwrite. Okay, so the priority always gives to your secondary configurations file, or you can say the priority always given to your include files. So normally mostly all the servers we have this kind of include folder, and this is always good practice to not to change the main conf file. What a change you want to do is just go to your include files and do there. And same thing in the yum also. So I show you guys in the yum, if you want to configure the yum, you can go to this folder and create the file. You know what guys, in the yum also, this is the secondary or the include folder. This is not the main configuration file of the yum. The main config file of yum is located here. This is the main file. Okay, so whenever you run yum command, they always read this file. This is the main file. Okay, this is the main file they read. Okay, and whatever you write here, they read, and whatever does not exist here, they internally they go to this folder and read the remaining part over here. So the main conf file for the yum is this one. These are the secondary conf file, but we don't suggest to go directly to write the yum thing in your main file. Suggest always go to this folder and go and do it. It is always good, you know why? Because something goes wrong, you can just go and remove this. So very harder we can roll back the things. But if you change something here, it's a big file. So sometimes we forget where we are changed and something was not working now. It's very harder to undo the things or roll back the things. So that is the reason we always want to practice this, right? So I had given you guys one more question here. So if you want to change your document root, for example, what I want to change your document root to /web. This is the example I have given you, right? Or maybe like for example web1. So what I want, whatever pages we put here, it can be accessible by your client. So what I ask you to change your document root to this folder. Okay, let me try to do this. Does it work or it won't work? So again, I'm changing in my own conf file. I'll just go to change the same conf file, and now from onwards I don't want to have my document root this one. I would like to have my document root web1. It looks so simple, but let's see does it work or not. So I start my services because I changed something in my conf file. I start my services. Okay, and service start, there is no issue. It's always good practice always to check service starts or not. Sometimes it doesn't give you error, but it fail. Service running fine, there is no issue. Okay, now let me go and access the page. Okay, so the page that I created here was l.html is forbidden. Okay, so guys, what I'm trying to tell you guys here is you have changed your configuration, your document root to /web1. It means now from onward, right, whatever website access the page, they access from here l.html, but they are trying to access this page, it giving the error forbidden. It means if you change your document root, sometime it work, sometime it is not working, it is giving the error. Why? So that's the reason I ask you this answer. I want to change my document root this one. How can you do this? This is the question I asked you in the last class in this particular Rise platform, right? How can you change your document root? Changing is pretty simple, but it is not working. It is yeah. Somebody also say here, Ram, sir, it is giving you forbidden. That's what I am talking about. Okay, but when I change to where.vimal, it is working fine. So my question was, why in some case it is working, why in some other folder case it is not working? What is the core reason behind this? Okay, so this is one again same question. I would like to ask you again how to change your document root. Okay, and let me show you one more last small concept here. For example, let me again go to change my document root. That will work for us. Okay, and let me remove this file. I don't have this file. It means now if I start my services, okay, which document root they use because there is no document change by us, because rm is a command in Linux to remove the file removed. So because there is no conf file created by us, so they will go to main configuration file, and in the main configuration file, it is written they use the document root called www.html. It means technically they use this document root because this is the default document root here. Because here we have two files, so you can access any of the file. For example, I'll go and access lw html, it is working fine. So now what I'm trying to tell you guys here is, sometime when you access the site or website, you always type the IP address or the computer name. So how to give the computer name in the upcoming class I will explain you. Okay, you normally type the IP address, and if you type the IP address, right, it always open your home page. But right now if I type my IP address, it open the home page that is the default home page from Apache software. But this is not a home page that you created by you. Okay, so if what I'm trying to tell you guys here is, if you want to create your own home page, okay, so technically guys, technically in what is the website means if you have multiple pages, that is your website. Okay, but the first page of your website is called home page, and in Apache web server your home page name is always index.html. So whatever you put inside this particular page, this name only index.html, that will be treat as your home page. It means in your website, if you have multiple web pages like these 3 pages, and if client hit without typing any page, the default page they open or the home page they open is always index.html. So either you type this or you type this, it is one the same thing. So index.html is a predefined named that has a meaning. If you any client open your IP without any page name, the web server will give them the content of this particular page. But if any client want to access any other page, they have to give that name. For example, lw.html, then it will open. It will like this. So your home page is always index.html. Why? So again, almost everything is there by default. It is there in your configuration file. So just go to your configuration file. Okay, inside the configuration file, it is actually here. It is written somewhere, right, that your default index page, okay, it is index.html somewhere, or maybe some extra what do you say, sub secondary folder somewhere they write your default index page is index.html, right, somewhere. You just go and find, not in this page, maybe some of the secondary page you will find one keyword, control F, it is work here, index dot, yeah, here it is. So here it is written. So in the line number 168, it is written here your directory, this is known as directory index. So home page here is known as directory index, is this one. So if you want to change your directory index, for example vimal.html, you can change this. So it means if anybody open your site, next time they open the page called vimal.html, so that is your default index page. So either you say the home page or you say the index page, it is one of the same thing, there is no difference. Okay, but here in the Apache web server, instead we use the term home page, it is known as directory index. Okay, so these are something. So guys, one question I already again already given you, how to change the document root to /web/vimal. If you try to do this, it won't work. I show you how to change. In some cases it was working fine, but if you do this it work fine, but if you give this it won't work fine. Why? You just go and figure out in the next class I will show you. Okay, so guys, it is pretty much about the Apache web server. We are into the RHCSA level of training, right? It is core training of Red Hat, basic training I say, but I'll try to give you lots of insight about web server. So in the next class we'll start with some new topics of our new server. Plus in the next class guys, half of the time I would like to give knowledge about the new server that we'll discuss I will start tomorrow. And half time I will like to give you about some basic command like vi, vim, and some other advanced commands also in basic level, because day after tomorrow we have a docker training. And so all this knowledge you require before you go for docker training. Not in the detail level, but at least you have some basic knowledge. Okay, docker is a very independent tool, but I'll show you how to integrate docker with the web server and all those things. So we'll go and take the docker training at very great level. Okay, that's the reason I suggesting this. So guys, that's all for today. I'm just starting up my chat window, and if you have any queries, you can ask me. So I have started my chat window, and anybody has any query, they can put in the chat box. And again, you guys know, if something is not working, your chat box is not popping up, just go back in the YouTube and come back again, or refresh your page, the chat box come up. Okay, anybody has any query, they can ask. How to clear the cache? I think Venki, you are talking about web server, sorry, web browser. You can do multiple refresh. This is the one way, or we have one more way. You can use Control F5 function key. Okay, so if you do Control F5 function key, right, it will remove the cache of that particular page in your browser. Yes, but the IP of your system can change randomly, because it is coming from DSAP server. What is DSAP? We will discuss. Gaurav, no, it won't work if you change the ownership of Apache to /web1. Even though you do, we can't. It won't work. Just try by yourself. Yes, we can use rat in the Red Hat. Somebody asked for technology trends. We can use rat, or we can create our own rat on the Red Hat. Okay, we can use. Okay. So I suggest guys, I use if you guys any questions related to some basics, on the terms of something is not running, you can put in your group, somebody will help you. But he's asking, I use that in the Docker, if you are installing Docker, they're giving the error. So I in the my lecture also I have given you um, the answer of you had to use docker install yum install docker c space for have a no best, and you should have yum to be configured, yum from your dvd plus yum from your fusion, or some path I given that yum, it will work then. Yes, I do train on cgi also. So in this training I won't take the cgi classes, but yeah, if you want to do the CGI integration with the Apache server, I do normally, especially some of the summer program I normally come and deliver. So normally we create a huge code level of technological applications where I integrate Apache server with the huge. I do normally with CGI actually. Okay, but in this training it won't be possible to for me to take the CGI. Yes, Siva will do a Docker step and in the Docker class. So in tomorrow I will start Docker again from the scratch, and we do lots of things there. And guys, don't worry about SE Linux. I haven't explained you SE Linux yet. I'll take some class of SE Linux in some time, but I just only told you that SE Linux is one security, and they won't allowing us. So that is the reason I just disabled it. Okay, but in the upcoming class I will explain you about resilience. And guys, resilience and CS mode, Pranesh, both the tools are different. So there is no link. CS mode is for permission, SLNS is for different use case. Okay, so when you see in the upcoming class, you will come to know the difference in firewall and SLS. These are the two different security. Firewall is normally we do at the network level, right? Especially port number and the service IP address. And SLS we normally do on the file system and the processes. So both has a different use case in the security world. Okay. So team, you have to check your own wireless. I can't help you if something pop up in the browser. So so please check your own wireless connectivity issue. That's all, guys. I think most of the questions been answered, and if you have any question left, please uh, talk to your respective group volunteer. They will help you. Yes, yes, Lewis. We definitely in the upcoming class I will talk about Ansible. Even though Docker classes we already started, so we'll go a deep dive. So you come to know in detail already in some time. And about the Ansible, after some classes we again going to start and Python integration with Linux, and those classes I will talk something about Ansible. So what kind of use cases Ansible will solve. How to read the RAM, guys? This is a question given to you. I will definitely give the answer, but I want you please explore more. Okay, so this is the learning way, guys. So I want you just try and get some more things, right? I definitely give my answer before the end of these classes. Okay, that's all, guys. Thank you very much. Great and good day. See you tomorrow to learn some more new stuff about uh, servers, right? In the next by Tech SU. Good day and good night.